This is Orange Perspective Podcast. I, of course, am Jason Thompson, and I am here with a guest, Caleb Wu. Hi,
Hello,
Caleb.
hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it was a nice little trip into Kentucky. So
Yeah, let's talk about where you're from.
I'm actually from Dallas, Texas, to be specific. You know, the great state of Texas. But yeah, it's nice being here in Kentucky, like I said earlier.
I mean, you literally just landed just maybe like an hour ago, 2 hours ago.
That we did. It was nice. I came in with two other managers, Hannah and Jeff. Both of them are breakout managers, and so it was nice
Shout out to Texas right now.
That's right. That's right.
So you are a fairly new manager. You haven't been around. You haven't actually managed anything yet. Tell us about that. What are you doing in Plano?
So currently, right now, we're still in the construction phase with Activate, but I've been adventuring out to Louisville every now and then, getting some training live over there at those locations. It's a lot as far as Dallas goes, construction. It's just we're getting up the frames and everything like that. We're putting in the MDF. We're getting closer and closer.
You're using all kind of words that I have no idea what you're talking about. No, what MDF? Maybe somebody doesn't know what MDF is. What's that?
It's a like a sound dampening board, so it goes on top of the drywall. It helps us install a lot of our equipment. It's a little.
So
bit
you're
easier.
in the middle of that process. Like
Yes, sir.
you're not just managing right now. You are helping with construction.
Yes, yeah. There's quite a bit that's going on. I'm trying to wear as many hats as I can to help the team out as much as I can, but it's a little bit of the construction right now.
Well, okay, let's walk us through. You know, what you were hired. What was your hire date?
I believe I came on board right around the last year's retreat in Tennessee. So when we all went out
Right
to
before
it, yes. And
Yeah,
so, and
because it was like the week before, right?
that is correct.
So I flew into to Plano and did some interviews, and we did dinner.
Yeah,
And then the next morning, I said, "Hey, can you come meet me again for coffee? I wanna make sure that we're making the right decision." And then we offered you the job, and you were like, "Yes." And that was September-ish, right?
That it was. Yeah, that was right around September. And believe it or not, there's a little bit of a story that came on with that. So like I actually showed up like 45 minutes early because I was like, I didn't really know who Activate was and everything like that. And so I was wanting to
dinner that
night.
night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was there a little bit early, and I told the hostess to, give me fair warning when you actually arrived, and so that we could just walk to the table together. And I was actually, it's like a 3-story restaurant that we were like dining at for dinner.
Right.
And so I was in the first floor in one of their lounge areas, and it was like 20 minutes or maybe 15 minutes past the actual time that we were supposed to be
Oh,
meeting.
I remember.
And I was like, well, what's going on? And so I ended up texting Corey, and Corey was like, Jason's already been sitting down for like 15 minutes. And at that point, I was like freaking out. And so I ran up to the hostess and was just like, Jason arrived already? And she was like, yes, he's already arrived. So I thought it was actually kicking off to a really horrible start. I wasn't actually sure.
It was kicking off to a horrible start. You were not wrong.
And so I was super nervous about everything. I did not think you were going to be giving me a call back after everything.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah,
Not at the beginning.
Right.
But you won me over by the end of that conversation.
The dinner did go very well. I was very pleased with what Activate had, and I was very excited to be, a part of something like this that I am now. But in that point in time, it was very nerve-wracking for me. And so I was, like I said, just a little bit nervous, and it was, very appreciative on my part that you guys brought me on board.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a funny story because most of the time those do not end very well if someone is 15 or 20 minutes late to an interview. But
especially with the owner too.
Right. I know, right? Especially with the owner.
Yeah.
No, it worked out great. And by the end of that conversation, I was, 99% sure that you had won me over. And then we had coffee, and it was like, yes, this is our guy. And you've proven to be that. And unfortunately, we thought we were going to be opening, November?
That was the original plan. And, just like with the construction and everything like that, it's just kind of gotten pushed back further and further. And it's understandable. There's some obstacles that, you can't really push, a little bit further out as far as time goes. We were expecting to I guess, have a lot of the blueprints done as far as our
Right.
capacity goes and
Right.
changed. We ended up having to add another bathroom in,
Yeah.
and so that extended out everything quite a bit. And so, I mean, there are some unforeseen obstacles that came into play, but overall, I mean, we really just want to, I can't wait for us to get open. That's something that I'm just, really just waiting
I'm
for.
sure. I
I
mean,
want to hit the ground running, and when we do hit the ground running, I want to hit it pretty hard.
yeah,
So.
and you've had plenty of time to be trained, so you should
Yes,
be
exactly.
you should be good to go. Well, that's
Yes.
awesome. Well, let's talk about who Caleb Wu is as a person. What do you like to do in your spare time, Caleb?
Well, currently I'm spending quite a bit of time doing some grilling. I love being outside, getting to smoke a lot of, obviously from Texas, brisket. And I actually just cooked a brisket the other day, or smoked a brisket the other day. And it was probably one of the shortest briskets I've ever smoked. So usually when I smoke a brisket, it's like between 12 and like 18 hours.
Okay.
This one was like 8 hours. And so I was really interested as far as how it was going to turn out. It turned out like pretty good.
So you just have like a smoker in the back?
We do. I have an offset smoker as well as an egg, and then a regular grill.
Okay.
Just to kind of.
And who do you eat the brisket with? You make all this brisket. Who do you eat it with?
So I have one older brother and then two younger sisters. We both live in the house together, and then I also have quite a bit of cousins and a lot of family actually just scattered in and around Texas. So it doesn't matter where I go. If I call, or put a message out saying, I've got some
got brisket.
Yeah, everybody
comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you make sides too, or are you just a brisket guy and everybody brings
Believe
the
it or
sides?
not, as good as I am at cooking some of the meats I've done, I'm really horrible at doing sides. Yeah.
Okay.
So I usually leave the sides up to my sisters. They're pretty good at that. One of my youngest sister actually is really good at baking. She does a lot of the desserts and stuff like that. The one above her is really good at doing like roasted vegetables, and so it's a really good combination between all of us. My older brother usually just gets to give us his opinion.
He doesn't cook at all. He just eats.
Yeah, he just eats. It's not that he doesn't cook at all. I mean,
Okay.
it's just, in comparison to what we're doing, it's just a little different.
A little low level.
Yeah, mac and cheese.
A little
Velveeta.
Velveeta mac and cheese. What is Velveeta anyway? So that's really cool. So what I'm taking from that part of the conversation is that whenever I arrive again in Plano, that I will be served some brisket.
Oh, most definitely. I would love to. In fact, here's another short story. I also travel around with a portable grill in my vehicles, in my truck. So.
Wow, you are an interesting fellow.
Yeah.
So you literally have a portable grill. So you're going to bring that to activate.
I definitely can. Although if I'm going to be doing a brisket, I might need to get a little bit bigger of a grill, which I have been on the market for. There are some grills out there that you can attach to your truck. It's almost like a trailer style offset smoker, and definitely where it's at.
Only in Texas do we have these kind of conversations, home. But I love it, and can't wait to try your brisket. Let's talk about you as a manager. I know other managers love to hear different thoughts, different background, different skill sets that each of you have. What would you say are some of the skills that you are bringing to the table as a manager?
So my background comes from a business marketing and sales background. So the majority of my previous employment has been in sales in some way, shape, or form. I've built on that over the years, and then through the last probably like 5 to 7 years moved into management, and then slowly started to get more in depth into sales, as well as obtaining more responsibilities. I moved from the sales floor into the finance office, and to kind of go back a little bit, most previous employment was in the auto industry. We were a pre-owned dealership selling Teslas or EV vehicles, just any one of them in general, which were mainly Teslas. It's about all that's in the market.
Yeah.
But I did finance for them for a while, and then ended up taking a general sales manager role. So that allowed me to, one, get a little bit of management under my belt, as well as still continue hitting, targets as far as sales go, hitting numbers. And then one, just as far as finance goes, protecting the integrity of the dealership at that point. It was my job to let the individual who's actually stepping into our place of business know everything that they're legally obligated to get. At the same time, what is the best deal, what we can offer them, and then, just provide the highest level of customer service.
So, what part of that or parts of that background are you bringing to Activate that you think translate and how it translates to your job at Activate as a manager?
One of the things I definitely would think would correlate would be the high level of customer service. I spend a lot of time making sure that each and every individual who walks through that front door is treated with like the utmost respect, and they understand everything that we do have to offer. I think that's something that's super important when you're coming in to Activate, making sure that, you're greeting them with a smile, that at any point in time, when someone's walking past, we used to have this rule, if anyone's within an arm length to two arm lengths of you, you need to be talking to them, saying hello, is everything okay, getting an update.
I like that.
That way you at least know when something is not going according to plan, or if it is going great, you can turn around and ask for a referral or get something else out of it from them, or offer them something.
I like that idea a lot. I think that translates to our other businesses as well. I think sometimes with Breakout, the game master is focused on the group, and so they are obviously engaging them.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're saying is if you were managing a Breakout, you would say to all of your team members, if you're passing them in the hallway, you say hello as well,
definitely.
and not just put your head down. Or at Vinaigrette, same way, when a guest comes up to the line or is up there, it's not just the person who is helping that particular person, but you are always saying hi, whether you're close to them. I like that rule a lot. Maybe we should apply that.
Yeah, it's worked out well for me, and at the same time, I think that's something that we're definitely going to be implementing over at the Activate Plano location, along with a few other.
A few other things.
Yeah.
You got some ideas.
Yes,
What
that I do.
you want to tell us a couple of those ideas?
One of the things that I've been, preview to jumping on board here was getting to read some books. I think that's going to be something that's going to be super important, is reading materials that will help everyone, as a company, as a whole, move forward in the right direction. And those are going to be things that, I think if we set some time aside, maybe whether it be 10 minutes or 5 minutes in the day, we just kind of go through what that book is telling us, what are we getting from it, understanding their concept or how they're interpreting it. That way, if we're all not on the same page, we can all get there.
Yeah, well, I will not argue with that. You got me 100% on board with reading books.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love books, as you know. Do you have any books in mind?
There was one that you did recently provide to me, and it was, I'm trying to remember the name of the lady who wrote it.
Was this maybe Impact Players?
This was Impact Players, yes.
Okay.
But I can't remember her name.
Liz Wiseman?
Yes,
Is that
Liz
right?
Wiseman.
Yeah.
That was it. That is
Okay.
it. So Liz had some great analogies that she brought to the table.
Mhm.
One of the things that she talked about was a lot. Well, she had a lot of sports references, which I'm also really quick to get on board.
Yeah.
But one of the things she was talking about was how to find impact players within your organization, how to make yourself a better impact player. Obviously, it's like going back to one of those references, you got to take the thorn out of your own eye before you can help others. So it's one thing to make myself a better impact player, but once I've made myself a better impact player, I can help others get on that same track. And that is really what develops and builds a strong core, a strong team. And that's what I want to be able to do over at the Activate Plano location.
I think a lot of people have this, a lot of managers have this question, is they obviously are at that level of impact players. They're doing a great job. They know how to do it. But how do you ignite your team to be able to do this? And how do you do it when you're not looking or you're not there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any suggestions?
Well, you probably need to start reading the Impact Players book.
Good point.
Beyond that, there's a lot of strategies that they have in play. Some of them are going to be just how you actually build your daily routine, how your a lot of them refer to when you wake up in the morning, what do you start with, what are you going to do after that, and building the right routine will help you kind of understand some of their background, some of their tactics, why they're wanting you to do certain things. And then on top of that, they go through quite a bit of actual strategies, and I've got most of them written down.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I would like to introduce them as much as possible.
In small little
It's small
15
little
minute
doses
times or
because
whatever.
at the
Yeah,
end of the
that's
day,
good.
and Liz references
Yeah.
this in the book, you don't want to overwhelm everyone.
Yeah.
So as much as information you have built up, you can't just unload all of it and then expect everyone to retain it
Yeah.
100%. So you want to release it in small doses, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're still moving along to keep
Yep.
on pace. You want to make a schedule, keep everyone on it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think it's hard to do that because what we want to do is once we absorb something, then we're just like a floodgate, right?
Yes.
And it's almost like baptism by fire, if you've heard of that analogy or metaphor. It's like you just want it's too much, and we have to. I'm that way. I just want to like, if I've got someone like you, I'm just like, read these 10 books and have it report to me by tomorrow or whatever. And you want everybody to get it so fast, but we don't learn that way. We learn by experience and small little steps, and especially the type of team member that you're going to have. They're going to be young, they're going to be inexperienced, and probably a little immature as well. And so they're learning and growing and this is their beginning steps. So we have to go, slow. I think that's a really good point. Speaking, not moving beyond books, staying on this topic for a minute. Do you have a favorite all-time book that you would recommend?
Favorite all time? The Bible, coming from Texas. No.
Man, I knew you were going to say the Bible.
No. There's quite a books that I've read. A lot of them have been from other entrepreneurs, and so one right off the top of my head, I probably can't give you one other than the Impact Players. I really do like the Impact Players. But that being said, I'm in the past been real deep on sales books, marketing books, trying to figure out how to help build your sales while at the same time not lose that one particular thing that you have that makes you unique as a business.
Yeah.
And so most of the books and stuff like that I read, although currently I am like dabbling a little bit into like the Lord of the Rings, but those are completely irrelevant.
You're reading? No, it's not irrelevant at all. I'm a huge believer, and Ben's over there like telling us that he's excited that you're reading Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge believer in reading fiction and novels because it helps creativity. I think creativity can get stifled if we're only reading books like Impact Players. I think those are really important, but what novels do, fiction does, and especially Tolkien, right? He's like creating this world, this magical, mythical world, and it helps you see our world in a little bit different light. And each author that you're reading it's their take on the world in some way. So I don't think that is out of the realm of good books and suggestions at all. I think people should be reading novels and fiction as much as possible. So the next question I want to ask you is one that comes up a lot when we're talking about our company, and in particular, there are some stories related to Breakout, not necessarily Activate yet because it's so new, but in your past experience at different jobs, do you have any horror stories that you remember or you could recall and tell us?
Well, I would hate to say that I've got a few because that would just look really bad. But at the same time,
I think maybe we all have a few, right?
Right. I definitely have one that comes to mind. And this one was just, it was first for me. I've never come across something like this situation. And so and just to kind of catch everyone up, this is what happened. So this lady came in to, her and her husband came in to buy a vehicle when I was working at one of the dealerships. I won't say which one, but they were very great customers. They were, not, I guess we could say, picky. They didn't really know what they were looking for, so we guided them in the right direction. They were great to work with. They were a very nice couple. At the end of the day, they had been at the dealership for quite some time. And in being at the dealership, if you've ever gone to the dealership to buy a car, sometimes you know that it can take quite a bit of time, and you end up getting caught there for a few hours.
Especially if you're haggling back and forth.
Oh yeah, yeah. We try not to do that, but, it's. But no, yeah.
So they had been there for a while.
They had been there for a while, and the wife had ended up ordering a sandwich from Jimmy John's. The sandwich actually arrived after they had finished going through some of the initial paperwork. So we actually ended up selling them a vehicle. But because of the length of time that they were there, they did not want to sit for the second part of it and go through the finance part to pick up all the other background finance information that they wanted to purchase. I think there was some warranties and stuff like that they were trying to buy. So they ended up leaving, and the sandwich arrived like 10 minutes after they had left. Well, the sandwich sat up at the front receptionist, so that she had already paid for it. As you know, when you purchase Jimmy John's, you pay ahead of time. And so she had left the sandwich up there. She went home. I guess at some point in time, she had turned around and remembered she had ordered a sandwich. Well, she came back to the dealership to pick it up. Well, one of our salesmen, I guess, was just extra hungry and ended up eating her sandwich, knowing that it was a guest sandwich. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was just like, oh, I was very hungry. And she,
very hungry.
She had ordered the sandwich and left. And he's like, I didn't think she would return. And I was like, this is like worst case scenario. Now she's up at the front. And what made it even worse was the receptionist actually told her straight to her face, one of our salesmen just ate your sandwich. And I was just like, there was no way to sugarcoat anything. There was no way to just, make it even.
So what'd you do? Like, did she end up buying a car, or did she just walk out?
Well, this took quite a bit of customer service. And so we ended up, sitting her down. She was not so happy at the time. We gave her a gift card that was significantly... No. This was a gift card that she could use, a Visa gift card that she could use anywhere. And it was significantly higher than what she had paid for the Subway.
Jimmy John's?
Yeah. And so it was... as good as it could have gotten for the situation.
Yeah.
And at that, they still bought the car. We were very, very thankful for them. But that being said, she probably will think twice about before she returns. Definitely probably won't order any food at our location.
Probably not. That is crazy that anybody would just pick up somebody else's sandwich if they don't even know why it's there and eat it. That seems absolutely absurd to me. But those things happen, and I think this is a good illustration of how we would want to respond in a negative situation, because either giving a gift card or just ordering Jimmy John's on the spot, or having somebody run and go get Jimmy John's, say, what do you want? I'm going to go get it right now. I'm going to bring it back. We would definitely want to respond like that. Yeah. But that's quite a horror story. Well, let me end with one more serious question. One thing that comes up a lot with managers and all of us as leaders is how we lead our team and how we relate to our team. So I think there's a balance. You want to have a relationship with your team. You want to have a personal relationship with your team. You want to be vulnerable, but there is a line to be drawn, and there's a line that can be crossed, and it has been crossed in our company a few times, unfortunately, but not necessarily way over the line. It's just like barely over the line. That line has been crossed. What do you do in your management style and your leadership to make sure that you set the right boundaries, and what are those?
Well, I think one is going to be leading by example. Showing others how to act at work, how to treat others at work is going to be super, super important. At the end of the day, I think also open communication, communicating with not just your employees, but also your higher ups, everyone in management. That way you can stay on point, heading in the right direction, so to say, and make sure that, obviously by leading by example, everyone else is trying to follow you down the right path. And I think that would be the key for us in Activate in Plano to kind of build a solid core team, is just making sure that the ideas that you want, the ideas that everyone else has as far as Activate goes, are something that I understand as a leader, and then I can turn around and teach them by showing them how we need to act, how we need to talk to guests, how we need to, treat certain situations, and just kind of by example hope that they start following and picking up on that. And if they're not, then we can turn around and have that little sit down.
Right, yeah. I just think it's so interesting because you spend so much time with the people at work, and it's easy to start fudging those lines a little bit and get too comfortable around people that report to you. And as we will probably say a lot from here on out, as a manager, you have power, and because of that power, you have greater responsibility. And I think that has been said so much, but it has to be said all the time. It has to be in the forefront of our mind, knowing that whatever we do is different in a different dynamic than if it's peer-to-peer in that relationship. So thank you for that answer. Thank you for all these answers. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you
this
for
is
having me over
the first real episode, or the first episode of this new season. And we wish you all the luck down in Plano at Activate. Hopefully we'll eventually get open.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be pretty soon. Maybe by the time people are actually listening to this and we post it, it will be open and you'll be guns blazing down there. Not literally guns blazing, but
we
you
can't
get
bring
it.
guns
It's
onto the
Texas.
facility,
But you'll be just open and ready to go. And things will be going well.
I definitely see us opening in the near future, very, very soon.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have gotten to a point to where you can start seeing everything.
Yeah,
and
that's exciting.
I just can't wait. So.
You can't wait. All right. Well, we can't wait to be down there. We can't wait to get guests in the door. And thanks again so much for all your wisdom that you've shared. And we look forward to what you're going to do with our company, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks.